Hey guys, it's Ray from Euro Football Star. We're pleased to finally get with one of our winners, Thomas Adams. Thomas was announced as one of our winners going back maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago now. We were unfortunately able to connect with him whilst we were in the UK, and we've recently returned back to Australia. And we've just got Thomas on the line at the moment. Good morning, Thomas. How are you?
Good. How are you, Ray?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you. So we'll just explain why we couldn't connect whilst I was back in the UK. What did you have going on at the time?
I was down at Coffs Harbour representing Queensland for the National Carnival.
Awesome. And how did that go?
Yeah, it went well. One of the Queensland teams actually managed to win the carnival, and it was a really good experience being able to play the other kids there. So
that's awesome, mate. That's really, really good. So for all of our viewers who tune in via social media, Thomas is one of our winners for the 2023 trip. I believe Thomas came out and trialled with us. I think it was 2 or 3 times, was it, Thomas? You came out to trial?
Yeah, I think it was 3 times. 3 times.
Yeah. So for those that have been following us on social media, we've recently just been on a tour back to the UK for our 2019 winners, which was delayed due to COVID. Thomas attended 3 of our objective testing. We were really, really pleased when we seen Thomas turn up for the 3rd time, because we knew he was close to winning it, and I knew how committed he was to try and win the competition. I'm not sure if Thomas knew how close he was, but he needed to improve literally on 2 points on one of his scores to put himself in a winner's circle. And thankfully, he actually done that on his last objective testing. Did you get a gauge? Did you think you were close to winning, or you wasn't sure? Or
I wasn't too sure, to be honest. I was hoping, but I was just trying to do my best to get as many points as I could.
Oh, that's awesome. And going back to the objective testing, now that you are one of our winners and you've put all the hard work in over the past 7, 8, 9 years with your football, and you've got to the pinnacle now, and you're going to get that opportunity to pit yourself against the best players, would you recommend this objective testing to other boys and girls in Australia?
Oh, for sure. I think it's a crucial thing that, like, not many other programs will give you an opportunity to show yourself in front of people for free, and then be able to then go further from that to verse kids in other countries without having to pay much. So I think it's brilliant.
No, that's awesome. And going back to the objective testing, is the one test that you really enjoyed, the one that you thought was probably your most funnest test to do?
I really enjoyed the one-on-ones, to be honest. I just thought it was great to be able to try to take people on and then, like, have a bit of a game out of it. So yeah, that was really good.
Awesome. And if there's one that you probably thought was a real challenge for you, what was the one test that you thought you probably wouldn't do if you didn't have to do it?
Is it the Mbappe one, the fitness one?
Yeah, so the beat test.
Beat test.
Yeah.
I actually after, I think it was the 2nd trial, I went and practiced at it, like, the fields when I got home.
Yeah.
Trying to get that one better. But yeah, no, that one was probably the toughest.
Yeah, it is. It is a tricky one. But again, the 6 tests that we've got in there, they're all designed to test you in different areas of your game. And I think whether you like it or not, if you're not fit and you're not fit enough to cover those 20-metre distances, you're going to struggle in the game of football.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the big things that Thomas is not aware of, and no one's aware of at the moment, but one of the things that we want to mention whilst we've got Thomas online today is that I actually had 2 boys come on the trip in 2018, and they were in a similar situation as Thomas is in now. And those players have worked with me for another 3 years since that trip. And they recently just returned back to the UK with me in September. And we're actually pleased to announce that we've actually got not 2 of those boys, but we've got 4 boys signing full scholarship and pro contracts back to the UK. So 4 of those boys who were with us in September, they're going to be with us in January for the tour. And we're going to have all of them going back with us in January. They're going to be over there for 2 years on a contract. So that's going to be exciting news that we've got. That's going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully for you, Thomas, it'll help you a little bit as well.
Sounds awesome.
one of the big things that we're trying to do is obviously open up that pathway and to try and give boys and girls an opportunity outside of Australia. There is lots of good opportunities in Australia, but also for boys and girls who aspire to play as high as possible, I think it's very important that you guys go and pit yourselves in those stronger leagues and stronger divisions. So going down to the trip, Thomas, probably looking at the tour for next year, and what's one of the big things that you're probably looking forward to the most?
I think I'm looking forward the most to playing the kids in England, because I've never got to go to England and play other kids there. And then I've heard lots about the gap between Australian football and English football, and I'm just really excited to actually experience it for the first time.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Like I will be honest, and I am honest with everyone, that the gap is huge. More so the older you get. So once you start getting to 16, 17, 18, the gap between the players in England and Australia, both boys and girls now, the gap is getting really, really wide. I think in the younger age groups, 12, 13, there's not a lot of difference. But one of the good things is once you go and see it and feel it and touch it and experience it, you know exactly the level you need to get to. And then hopefully you'll come back motivated to kick on for another 12 or 18 months. And then I'm pretty confident, Thomas, from when I first seen you, and I think back to players I've had in the past, the likes of Jack Reedy, Benji Zilic, Kai Henning, Denovan, Ollerman, these players that I've had over the years, I see exactly the same thing in you. You love your football. You're willing to travel as far as it takes. And believe you me, if you've got that will and desire, that's all you need. And hard work and effort. And if you want to make it as a football player, you'll make it as a football player. Very excited to have you on board, mate. So looking forward for the next 12 months, obviously you're going to get to spend a lot of time with myself and around the Euro Football Star team. We're going to prepare you as best as we can. In relation to your football for next season, because I'm not really fully aware yet, but where are you placed for your football next season? Have you committed to a club, or can't you say? Or
Yeah, I'm currently committed to Sunshine Coast Fire in the under 16, so I'm playing up in the NPL for
that's awesome.
Fire that is League 2.
Yeah.
But currently Fire is also running a full-time academy at Bridging Beach College, so we'll train probably 2 to 3 times a day at the school.
Yeah,
for Fire as well. So I think that's just a great thing. It's helped me a lot, and yeah, staying with Fire. So
that's awesome, mate. That's really good to hear. That's one of the big things for any players who are listening in at the moment. And I get asked a lot of questions. What's the one thing that you could do that maybe gives you a better chance of becoming a footballer? And I always just say more football, as much football as you can do. I think there's a lot of really good school programs coming out in southeast Queensland and across the east coast of Australia at the moment. And I think if players have got the opportunity to do an extra 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a week of football, 100% go for it. One of the big differences between the UK and Australia is that those players play more football. If we can bridge that gap, and it looks like you've got that covered over the next 12 months, that's going to really, really help you. So when you go across, not only can you compete with the boys over there, but also you can probably excel as well. And we're going to help you as much as possible over the next 12 months. We'll be in touch over the next few weeks on emails with mum and dad and with yourself, just to fully explain. And so everyone who's watching, so you understand that the players don't only just win an $8,000 trip, they actually get Euro Football Star supporting them for the rest of their football journey now. Over the next 12 months, you're going to receive in excess of $6,500 of development, coaching, match analysis, a pre, during and post football plan. We'll work in conjunction with your school football and your club football to make sure that everything's in the best interest for you and for your game. And the main thing is that you not only go over and you're successful next year, but also you go over and have some fun and enjoy it as well. So going back when you first started playing football, Thomas, how old was you when you first kicked the ball? Can you remember, or did mum and dad tell you?
I think I first signed up for like football when I was in prep. So that would have been when I was 4 or 5.
4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And when you obviously first thought, I really like a particular football team, what was the team that really caught your eye? Was it an overseas team? Was it an Australian team?
My pop's from Italy, and he's a Juventus fan. He was
Awesome.
also the one that got me into football, so I've kind of just been a Juventus fan since then.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, have you ever been over to Juventus or to Italy or?
No, not yet. Looking to go though.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a very obviously very, very big club in Europe, one of the biggest clubs, if not in Europe, in the world. And they're not, I don't think they're having the best of times at the moment by the looks of it, a little bit like my team, Liverpool, unfortunately. But they'll come good again. But yeah, no, they're a fantastic team. And I've been very lucky to go and watch them a few times at the old stadium and also at the new stadium as well. So hopefully that'll be maybe one day you can pull on the old lady's jersey and go and play for Juventus.
Hopefully.
Yeah, there was a big connection between Liverpool and Juventus in, I think it was the late 80s. Liverpool actually had a player that went on and played for Juventus for a couple of years, a striker by the name of Ian Rush, and then he come back to Liverpool. But there's been a good sort of synergies between the clubs over the years, and they've had some good games against each other in the Champions League.
Yeah.
So growing up and playing your football, Thomas, who's probably been your biggest influence in your football, whether it be a coach or mum or dad or granddad, or who's been the one that's really, you think, give you the little push and the best advice and helped you along the way?
I think I'd have to say my parents, honestly, because they've just supported me so much through my footballing journey so far, and they've always encouraged me to work that extra bit harder, do my own stuff at home. If I've got an area that I see that I need to improve on, or if they think that I need to improve on an area, they'll be honest enough to tell me that so that I can do something about it and improve. So yeah, they've just been brilliant.
Oh, that's awesome, mate. That's awesome. It definitely does help if you've got a good support network around you. And that's one of the things that I find with the players that I've currently got, and we've been successful in getting contracts overseas, is that players who've got that good support network, whether it be mum, dad, or both, or a grandparent. It's really vital and important thing that you've got someone in your life. And so that basically means when you get that first professional contract and you get that first salary, you're going to get mum and dad that nice big car, the house with the swimming pool. Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Now, just for everyone who's tuning in, Thomas, who doesn't know you as a player, and obviously there are a lot of people who don't know you yet, but hopefully one day they will know you. In regards to your position, what's your sort of preferred position? Where have you been playing over the past couple of years?
I've been over the last year and before that, I've been playing forward position, so striker and winger. I've been alternating between the two.
Yeah.
Been trying to be as versatile as I can between the two so that I can expand my game. But they're the two main positions that I enjoy the most and feel that I can do the best at to help my team.
That's awesome. So you're playing across the front three effectively in the 7, the 9 or the 11?
Yeah.
And that's a big thing that's changed in the past 10, 15 years. The players who've been really successful have been able to offer more than one position as well. And I definitely encourage any players out there who like to play as a striker, maybe to consider playing in those high wide positions as well, so you can offer yourself to your coach. And obviously, some games require different tactics and you need to play in different positions. In regards to left foot, right foot, both feet, have you got a preferred foot you've worked with over the years that you feel more confident in?
I'm right-footed, but I do my best to try to train my left foot as well as I can and try to close the gap between the two so that I'm able to perform using whatever foot happens to be used in the game. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, and again, that's another big one. You will always have a stronger foot as you're growing up, but it is important to try and balance that out, especially when you're getting 14, 15, 16 to try and really apply as much work as you can on that weaker side. Because again, that just gives you that opportunity to be able to offer on both sides of the field. So we've just got one more thing. So if you were successful when you went to the UK next year and you got an opportunity, and you were to be able to be offered a contract at the age of 16 and 17, which club would you sign for and why?
Is that within England or within Europe?
Anywhere in the world. Could be the Brisbane Roar, could be Liverpool.
To be honest, my goal through football over the last few years has been to eventually make it to a Champions League club. What Champions League club that is, I'm not too fussed about it.
Yeah.
But just being able to play in the Champions League's my ultimate goal, and any club playing Champions League, I think, would be a brilliant team. So
yeah, that's awesome. Well, we can hopefully get you a little bit closer to that Champions League, because next June, the Champions League final is going to be in Istanbul on the 10th of June. And we're actually going to be coming live from Istanbul for a whole week next year. And we are going to be announcing one of our winners who's going to be joining us to Istanbul for the week. So possibly you could be one of the people joining us for the trip. For all the winners who don't make it successful in coming to Istanbul, we're going to be coming live with interviews with all the players, which would include yourself as well. So whether you're selected to come to Istanbul or not, would you be available for some live interviews from Istanbul from the Champions League final in June?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
That's awesome. And we've got some exciting people who's going to be involved in them interviews as well. Obviously, we're not sure who's going to be in the final, but Champions League finals always deliver high quality teams, and it'll be a great thing. One more final thing, Thomas. So obviously you said you've got a love for Champions League football and a little bit for English and Italian football. If you could play for any coach in the world right now, whether it be Pep Guardiola, Warren Moon at Brisbane Roar, whether it be Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, which coach would you really like to play for at the moment? And give me a reason why you'd like to play for that coach.
I reckon Pep Guardiola would be my coach, because I think he's just got a really good playing style at the moment. And I feel like all the teams that he's been at play really good football. They play fast football. He creates very smart players and is developing great talent from the teams that he's been at. So I think Pep Guardiola would be the coach that I would want to go to. Yeah,
that's a great answer. I think as a Liverpool fan, it kills me to admit that, but he definitely is at the pinnacle of development. And I think if you're 19, 20 years of age and you're going to go and sign for a club, I would want to go and play under Pep Guardiola just from that development aspect. He's a phenomenal coach, and maybe he could be in that Champions League final in June as well. And maybe Man City can finally crack it and win that Champions League and get a taste of it. But that'll be good. But Thomas, I really appreciate you and thank you for your time. I know everyone's busy over weekends, and we're going to be in touch with you in the next couple of weeks. And again, mate, a big congratulations from us at Euro Football Star. Apologies that we haven't been able to get hold of each other the past couple of weeks. But you're going to be seeing lots of us over the next couple of months. You're going to get sick of seeing me, listening to me. and yeah, hopefully we can help you along your journey, and hopefully one day I can put you up on my board and have a big picture up there and say that Thomas was involved with us at some point and we helped him along his way in his journey. That'll be a nice thing for us to do.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you for everyone for tuning in today, and a big thank you again for Thomas. Thanks, guys.